Al Capone, it was taxes. Martha Stewart, a stock tip. John Dillinger, banks. And for James Comey, Donald Trump wants it to be the seashells. Look, every era gets the crime saga it deserves. And right now, ours happens to be a man facing federal charges over beach decor. And look, we know that this case has gone extremely poorly for the DOJ. But folks, you have to see what the Justice Department filed in federal court on Tuesday. Quote, the chief executive directing his subordinates to exercise core executive functions is a feature, not a bug, of our constitutional system. What they're saying, or at least trying to say, is that the president ordering prosecutions, even when they are politically motivated, are a feature. And this gets funnier because the same filing says that the idea that the Justice Department is independent from the president is, quote, antithetical to the constitutional separation of powers, and as a matter of historical analysis, it is a myth. A myth. Like the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot or Trump's success in anything meaningful. But of course, we do live in the dumbest timeline. And to prove that, you just have to look in the same document. Because in that same document, the same lawyers argue that the prosecutor who charged James Comey acted completely independently. Quote, no one ordered or even suggested that Boyle pursue the ongoing investigation or seek an indictment. So, if you're keeping score, if you're keeping track, your government is arguing that the president is fully entitled to order prosecutions like this. He definitely didn't, but if he did, it'd be a good thing. And then let's pair that with what we've seen and heard from Attorney General Todd Blanche, again, the president's own former criminal defense attorney. Blanche swears that he never discussed the case with the prosecutor until the day before trial. But then add that to this little quote that we even covered from Blanche a few days ago.
In your address to the Justice Department staff this week, you said you and DOJ will, quote, uphold the law without fear or favor. You, of course, used to be President Trump's former personal defense attorney. Can you pledge that the Justice Department will always act independently of the White House?
Well, there's a big difference between saying we will always do our job and investigate any case and act independently of the White House. No, I'm not going to pledge that. And no attorney general should ever pledge that.
And look, if you're not familiar with the case, this is that stupid case that has James Comey facing federal charges, all because he posted the photo of seashells on a beach that arranged to read 8647. And the government, they call that a threat against the president. But the best part about these prosecutions and these trials is that Comey gets to present his own evidence. So the actual evidence trail in Comey's dismissal motion includes Trump publicly posting orders at his attorney general to go after James Comey. And then Trump demanding that Secret Service agents who questioned Comey send their notes directly to the president himself to review. Acting independently. See how it is. And look, I ask you guys this all the time, but what can accountability look like here? What will finally stop this weaponized DOJ? Let me know what you think in the comments. I want real solutions. But right now, though, you have a president with a, quote, deep-seated animosity, those are Comey's words, that uses the criminal process against personal enemies. And when that doesn't hold up in court, the government's own defense is simply that presidents get to do that now. When you're famous, they just let you. And think about what that means if this were to become precedent, if this were to hold up in court, if it were to hold up in this James Comey case. Because if it counts against Comey, it can count against a governor, a journalist, a guy with a YouTube channel, someone in the comments. It could hold up against a woman with a picket sign. You know, they've done a great job of draining the swamp right up until the swamp is you. Remember, they've called this a feature, not a bug. Remember that. Remember that phrase, a feature, not a bug. Because when they tell you that the machine is working as designed while it's aimed at the president's enemies, you better believe them. And in November, it's our turn. We get to unplug the machine. The DOJ belongs to the United States, to us, not to the grudge list of a delirious old man in the Oval Office. And this is exactly the accountability work you have helped keep alive. Your likes, your comments, just being here watching, it helps. But I'm asking you, consider becoming a member, because we're reading the filings so that you don't have to. So if you can, consider becoming a member of Ring of Fire and keep us going.